Hello there, I'm Aldrahill, and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4. It's finally out. I am so sorry that this is so exceedingly delayed. There was an issue with me getting my early copy that meant I actually am unable to record videos until now. So I'm about a week late. I missed a big push of videos, so really sorry you didn't get to see Hearts of Iron. But we're going to be starting a new Let's Play series, and we're going to be playing who else but Germany. But, as I did with the Stellaris, I want to try and take things to a bit of a limit. We're going to start in the 1st of January 1936 start, so the nice familiar gathering storm. Things are consolidating, things are gathering, and we're preparing to fight, and history can take shape. We're going to play as Germany. As Germany, obviously, we get extra planning speed and extra division organization, basically making some of our military fronts really good. And also, we can create factions, and we have a dollar geology drift defense. Basically, yeah, that's not important when we're not playing multiplayer. So, we're going to play Germany, the beautiful German Reich. But, I'm going to do it differently to some of the Let's Plays I've seen. I am going to play it on veteran difficulty level. Just like I did with Stellaris, and I played it on insane, I'm playing it on veteran. And I've played it a bit. It's pretty hard, actually. Your production efficiency cap is reduced. I'll explain that later. Research time is increased, and you get less political power, which is basically a thing you really need. And of course, we're going to play this Iron Man mode. I don't want no cheating, none of that crap. And I also want some sexy achievements. Well, I think I do already have a few. And I'm going to turn off historical AI focuses. Basically, this makes it so that... Oh, God. This basically makes it so that the AI is more like... No, they always will take like national ideas along the path of history. Well, I don't want that to happen. I want to see if France becomes communist or something. Who knows? And then we can react to it and change the situation as we go. And so there's a couple things I want to make sure I do properly in this game, because I have messed up a little bit. So let's do this. We are going to conquer the whole bloody world and unite under the glorious leadership of Hitler. Because that's clearly what we need to do. Because as you can see, I've played it quite a few times. Germany, you too. Yeah, I've played it quite a few times now. So, let's take a look at how we start. So it's 12 p.m. Yeah, that's right, 12 p.m. 1st of January, 1936. So, I have come up with a pretty efficient starting plan. So this is going to be a good little guide for you guys if you're interested in trying to learn efficient ways to play the game. So, basically, obviously, you have your national focuses, and your national focuses give you benefits, and there are like a variety of things that you can do that make things a bit easier, give you bonuses, give you benefits, etc, etc. So the things we really want to be aiming for are Anschluss, which is the peaceful acquisition of Austria. So all this beautiful area, because you get civilian factories, you get military factories, you also get some oil, which is freaking valuable, but it's actually going to be a little bit less valuable than you'd think, and I'll tell you why in a bit. So that's the goal. But first, the thing we need to be able to do it, obviously we need Rhineland, which is the very first focus we'll take. It basically means we can move troops into this area. We get lots of political power, which you can expend, extra experience and stuff like that. So that's obviously the first one we'll ever do. It's literally the strongest one to start with as Germany. It's basically what you kind of have to take. I don't really like that. I wish there was more choice. So to be able to get Anschluss, we actually need 550,000 manpower in the field. So we currently, it says that we have used manpower of 269. But the better way of doing it is actually pressing O and going to the army overview and looking at the equipment details. And there it will actually show you your equipment in the field. So how we're going to be able to do this is we're going to kind of abuse something. What we're going to do is we're going to look at our infantry division. So delightful. We are going to train... 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So that's 10 divisions of infantry. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. We're going to train 10 divisions of infantry and put them into Brandenburg. And what's going to happen is as soon as I can deploy them, I will deploy them. And they'll be undertrained, green, crappy conscripts. But that's okay, because what we can then do is assign them to a general who will give us experience, land experience, that will allow us, or army experience, that will allow us to edit our troops, as well as giving them military experience. And it means we can crank out soldiers faster and get Anschluss sooner. I think we need about... Each division is about... How much is each division? Each division is 9,600. So 10 you get 96,000. And we need... basically we need about 300,000. So we need to do this about 3 times. Plus, I think 1 more division? I don't remember. But we shall see. There are some things we can do. So first of all, the first steps are, we're going to group all of our soldiers, which is all 30 divisions, okay? We are going to take... we're going to make an army of them. But then we're going to take out the panzers, the cavalry, and the motorized and the mountain divisions. Okay, we're going to put them into a different army. We're going to give the first one a field marshal. We're giving the best one Jode van Rudstedt, the combat with an entrenchment. Yeah, why not? And we're going to put him on the Polish border. So we give it put a front line. I really like this. It's an interesting improvement of the battle plan system of Hearts of Iron 3. You have the little front lines. You can easily draw it on the borders. So assign them to that. They will defend that, and then they will also exercise. So this will start burning through equipment, namely infantry equipment and support equipment, as you can see here. But we're going to make some changes. First of all, the first thing we want, the reason why we're trying to get to 10 army experience, and once we finish Rhineland, it'll give us 5, so that'll help us get there. The reason we're doing this is because we want to be able to remove artillery from our infantry, because they're going to be constantly being exercised over the whole period of the pre-war period, and we really don't want to be burning through artillery, because artillery, I think this needs to be changed. This is a thing that definitely needs to be changed. Looking at the text screen, obviously as you go up, your weapons and equipment gets better. You know, infantry equipment 2 is more defense, more soft attack. But if you look at the artillery section, artillery 1, which is like pre-war artillery, to artillery 2 is so vastly different, like so infinitely different, that it's just useless having a look. 0.8 defensive, 15. 1 more breakthrough stat, 10 more soft attack. It's just so terrible. To explain some of these statistics, by the way, defense value is essentially how many, when you're on the defensive, it's basically like your defense while you're defending. Breakthrough is essentially, it's almost like your defense when you're attacking. Soft attack is how many attacks you can make against weak targets, like, for example, artillery and infantry. Hard attack is attacks you can make against hard targets, like tanks. Piercing is the amount of armor it will penetrate, and reliability is how likely the equipment is to suffer. The lower the value, the more likely the equipment is to suffer random failure. Basically, just you lose equipment. That's kind of meant to represent attrition. So, because artillery is so terrible, we really desperately want to remove it from our infantry divisions as soon as possible. And we're going to give this guy a general. We're going to give it Rommel. Actually, no, we're going to give him Edward van Manstein for a very specific purpose. Actually, no. You'll give him Rommel. That's fine. And we'll put him... we won't really do anything with him, to be honest. We're definitely going to move him out of here, though. And really irritatingly, you have all these bloody troops. For some reason, the AI will not move them over here, even though I've told them to, unless they're standing in a port. So I'll do that now. So, other first things we want to do. We definitely want to change from partial mobilization to war economy, because this increases the number of factories we can use, and it also increases speed of construction. That costs 150 points. That's the first thing we're going to buy when we get our political power. We only get 1.5 a day because of the veteran difficulty. Adolf Hitler does help that a little bit, though. He helps nullify some of that disbenefit. So, the key thing is the very first steps are research, changing to war economy. In fact, let me talk about factories for a little bit. So you start with 32 factories. So the very first thing you do, basically, in the 36 start, regardless of who you're playing, is you build civilian factories. And you want to build them to the east. Build them in the east, because Poland is not going to be a problem. And the east aren't really going to be an issue unless you really screw up. The attacks are going to come from the west and the northish area if they land troops, and bombs and stuff. So we want as many of our factories safe as possible. So I'm just going to give these guys absolute crap tons of civilian factories to build. This basically here is going to be filled with beautiful civilian factory productions. And so it can only build 5 at a time. Sorry, we can only use 15 at a time to build one type of thing. And since we've only got 32, these are being used for them. However, something's going to need to change, because based on our production and research, our production and stuff, we are actually down on oil and tires, which is basically rubber. So where are we going to get rubber? This is what Germany suffered with in the real World War II, and also what happened in Hearts of Iron 3 if you didn't stockpile necessary resources. Hearts of Iron 4, you can't stockpile resources, it's all about flow. You can stockpile equipment. So if you look at the trade screen, we forget the shortcut. We do make like a little bit of oil, and there's some oil in Poland, and there's some oil in Austria, and yeah, there's a few smatterings of oil. Up north of Sweden and Norway, they do actually have quite a bit of tungsten and chromium, which is really useful for making tanks. So that'll be interesting as well. Sweden's going to be an interesting thing. We're going to do something fun with that. Basically, I'm going to make Sweden fascist. I'm going to force Sweden to become fascist and be my trade partner. And because they're so close to me, I'm going to be able to trade with them very easily. So the next thing is, how do you get rubber? Rubber is basically owned by the Netherlands, look at that, and the UK as well, but obviously UK are never going to give it to me. So it's really valuable to be able to have rubber. As you can see, the Netherlands have an absolute crap ton of rubber. So what some people do is that they manipulate Netherlands to be fascist, support a coup, and basically make the Netherlands a fascistic government that will then trade with you forever. The problem I had when I tried that is it forced people to join various powers, and France started getting pissy, England started getting pissy, the war started far too soon. Instead, I'm going to nick the Netherlands really soon. I'm going to fully annex the Netherlands and justify war goals with them. So just nick the Netherlands, okay? And I will fully annex them, or I might leave some of these crappy areas. But the key thing is I'm going to get their oil and their rubber production all for myself. And that's going to seriously fuel a lot of my war. Wow, look at this bit of the UK. Look how much rubber that gives them. That is insane. It does open up an additional front. It is a definite issue. But, well, there's nothing else for it, really. It's something we have to do. So, that's our long-term goal within the next year. The first thing, though, is that we do have to trade for oil. So we want to move our production lines around because you trade for 8 resources for a civilian factory. So basically you trade away the use of one of your factories for 8 resources. So we definitely want... I keep always losing control of the map. I want to start making more production facilities. So first I'm going to add another infantry equipment and another support equipment. So straight away some of my factories go directly to them because this is going to be pretty significant. I'm going to get rid of my close air support divisions because they're using rubber and they're using oil, and I don't need them right now. Honestly, I'm not going to need them until it starts becoming an issue in the west. I'm not going to need bombers, honestly. I will infinitely need fighters. Infinitely. This game is all about fighters. If you don't have fighters, you lose. You need air superiority. I will allow these guys, these ships, to be finished building. And then I will, when they are done, simply build more destroyers and more submarines, and they'll make up the majority of my navy. I won't need to concern myself with that until about 1940, however. So, just kind of ignore that, to be honest. Some people recommend deleting motorized and divisions. Some people recommend removing panzer tanks. I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to allow them to stay as they are. These guys are not going to actually suffer any kind of expenditure, because they're not going to be used until the Spanish Civil War, which I'll get to later. But I would really like to be able to replenish my stuff and not suffer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce motorized down to 1. So we get some motorized, and we also get some light tanks and stuff and towed stuff. And I'm going to keep towed artillery for a little bit, simply so that... Actually, no, I'm just going to get rid of it entirely, frankly. No, it's not really an issue. We're going to keep towed artillery for now, and we'll delete it when we can remove it from our army dudes. Until then, I'm going to add 5 to my infantry and 3 to my supports. Delicious. And so we need to really steadily start increasing our infantry and our support, and start increasing this, our lovely fighters. And we'll give a couple more fighters for them as well. So we're currently up to 19. But as it's an 8, it's best if we spend the rest of the factories on things that require oil. So we end up spending 5, right? And it'd be the same thing with rubber. So if we can spend more on oil and rubber, so it makes sense to just put it all on fighters. Well, that's enough. So that'll fuel the fighters and the fighters' development, which is fantastic. So we then need to trade oil, and we'll trade it with the Soviet Union because I really don't. They're right there. You know, it's so close. It's not a big of a deal. Yeah, there's no. There is. There you can get 2 oil from Austria, but it's not really necessary. So we're gonna get 24 from the Soviet Union. It's gonna take some of our convoys, and then rubber-wise, we're gonna get. Unfortunately, we have to trade this from the Netherlands, but that's okay. We're gonna get 16 net rubber from our pals, the Dutch, and that will give us all the things we need. Right, next things, research. We're going to immediately do these things. You want to be constantly doing things that give you continuous benefit early. So things like research, things like production. So electronic engineering reduces research time. First thing I research, honestly, regardless of where I am. Next, production efficiency cap. This will basically make it so all factories are a little bit better. The sooner you do this, the sooner it takes effect. And absolutely construction 1, because I really want to be able to construct things. Next, I don't really need synthetic refineries for this because I'm going to make some sick plays. You don't touch army doctrine or any kind of doctrines or anything to do with armor divisions until you receive some delightful bonuses, because when you go down here in the army innovation section, you get research bonus for land division, and research bonus for tanks, and also with the Treaty of Versailles you get tanks. So until you get that, there's no purpose of, you know, doing that. You just waste points. So the path we're going to do with our national focus, by the way, is Rhineland, Reich's Autobahn, which is pointless, but things can move fast, whatever. This is why we're actually going to put a lot of our troop construction in Brandenburg, Hanover, and Thuringen, and Franken, because it has big infrastructure so they can move fast. Next will be West Wall. There's obviously, because you gain extra benefit if the Rhineland is militarized, so you always do that one first. Then industrial effort, because it gives you 6 civilian factories and it reduces the cost of construction tech. Give it to me now, please. For the love of God. I know I just said that you shouldn't research things unless you have direct benefit, but honestly, you're not going to get this until 1937 anyway, so you may as well just do this one first, because increased construction speed is so valuable. The last tech is kind of up to me. Ultimately, I'm going to try and get improved artillery by mid-1938. I'm not going to touch doctrine or armor. Things like support weapons 1 is a good idea, because it just gives you some nice statistic increases regardless. You're going to want to get all of these eventually. Maintenance companies isn't useful just yet, so I'm going to probably get the support weapons. It takes a little while, but I think it's a good thing to do. So this will catch up to itself in a second once I've unpaused. So our infantry divisions are all there doing the fun things and exercising. These guys will sit there pretty and they will wait. And as soon as the Spanish Civil War happens, which will almost certainly happen every game, in fact I think it has to happen between the fascists and the Republicans. I guess, are they communists? No, they're actually democratic. There is some communists though. I will send 2 panzer divisions and help them out. And that'll be fun. So I do believe that is everything that I need to do to start. So the first thing, as soon as we get the political power and Rhineland tech is finished, is we're going to change to war economy, because it means more factories are opened up, because currently 20% of my factories are used to make civilian goods. I'm using air quotes here. I guess, you know, like making a fridge or whatever. But this means I can get a little bit more of my factories and shit is built faster. And I'm spending basically all of 36 constructing civilian factories. Just build loads of civilian factories so that I get this cumulative benefit throughout the game. And then once I'm at about December or maybe January of 1937, I just basically build military factories for the rest of the freaking game. And if I have issues with oil and rubber, I will build synthetic refineries, but I shouldn't. Based on my testing, I should be able to just take the Netherlands. I can also now start justifying the war goal, but I would really like to get war economy first, and I would like to have those extra regiments. I don't want to have to deal with it just yet. So that's everything you need to do to start the game. So I'm going to unpause, and things will start moving in, to their proper path. I also don't want to start garrisoning divisions on the Netherlands until I've remilitarized this area, especially because troops will probably move down from Eindhoven when the war starts. Of course, the key thing here is that the Netherlands could become... It's unlikely, but they could become allies. There is a... Good, okay, they haven't taken it. There are some things that allow them to ally with the damn Dutchmans. I can't quite remember what it is. but there is one that allows them to take the Alliance of the Dutchmen really early, and thankfully they don't have that yet. So it's most of this early bit is kind of just sitting here pretty. But within a few months, the Civil War will occur, and that is going to be absolutely hilariously fun. It's going to be amazing. So we are getting lots of experience right now, and we are getting lots of units. 10 infantry units are slowly being produced. We actually don't need the fighter just yet. I'm just going to increase the infantry equipment as soon as we can, because that's honestly what we need more than anything else. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's support. I meant infantry. Right, here we go, baby. Here we go. Ba, ba, ba. Dun, dun. Alright, so we are losing equipment and stuff, but that's alright. We're getting a lot of experience. The Civil War happens sometime between March and like July, and when that happens, what we're going to do is we're going to create a general, and we're going to probably give the better one, not just Erwin. And we're going to give him 2 light divisions, because even if I recruit all 10 of these dudes, unfortunately it's still not enough to send 3. But seriously, unless the Soviets send loads of tanks, it doesn't matter. You wreck them. So right here, right now, I deployed these guys instantly. So they are already deployed, 5 extra units, and I'm going to send them over there. And they will now start training. It's like that. They're already training. It doesn't even matter that they've missed so much. And so I can just keep training these units endlessly. It's freaking wonderful is what it is. I mean, the goal here would be really nice if the Civil War could happen in the towards July rather than March, because if I can get more units, I don't know what the percentage is, because currently you're only allowed to send a certain number of divisions based on the number of max divisions you own. Makes sense. At the start, when Civil War happens, you can only send 2 divisions. I would really like to be able to send 3. So I just remilitarized the Rhineland. I really have unpauses when I click it. So we've remilitarized the Rhineland. We're getting a lot of political power. Absolute ton of political power. We are now going to do the Reichsautobahn to get improved infrastructure. And we're going to turn our guys into war economy. Thank God. We're just going to seriously increase the number of factories that we have the ability to use. Yay. I know it doesn't look like a change, but since then I have started importing things. So let's see what happens here. So obviously there is a bit of a deficit with regards to military factories and with regards to all this. To be honest, I think I kind of want to turn down some of these fighters. I would really like to get lots more military equipment, please. That would be pretty sweet. Thank you. Come again. Yeah. We just have to hope that it doesn't happen too soon. So we will continue in the very next episode. This has been the very first part, and I hope I've helped you with the very beginning of Efficient Germany. In fact, just before I finish, I am actually just about to gain the necessary army experience to be able to remove our equipment, which would be really good. Have we removed it? So we actually haven't removed it already. So we are actually going to just cancel that production line, and it sends one more to the thing. And as soon as this is done, right. We edit infantry. We remove artillery. This makes it so that, there suddenly it'll probably start jumping up a little bit. In fact, the problem is that there isn't actually enough equipment for these guys. And that's it. The Spanish Civil War has happened. It's a bit earlier than I hoped. A little bit earlier. So the Nationalists was declared war. That's fine. No problem at all. And so, obviously, we're going to try and send divisions. We can only send 2. So we'll do that in the next episode. So we'll continue with the strategy and hope that we can make some really awesome plays. And I will guide you through some cheesy things you can do with the Civil War. And they're pretty cheesy and pretty wonderful. So I was Aldra Hill, and I will continue to be. And this has been Hearts of Iron for the German Reich. Oh, it's going to be really good, guys. It's going to be good. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be good. Bye-bye.